NHCRS Wednesday service. My name is Mark Crowell. I am a practitioner here at the church, and I am so thrilled to welcome you all to tonight's service. Welcome to all of you who have joined us in person, or those of you who are online with Zoom, Facebook Live, or YouTube Live. If you are one of our live streamers on any of those streams, please go to the chat and tell us where you are streaming from. And you all know the drill, those of you that are here. For those of you who are here in person, please take this moment to ensure that your cell phones are silenced. Thank you. We always begin Wednesday night service with a 10-minute meditation, our opportunity to have communion with Spirit, with Source, with God. And so I invite you all to get still, to let go of your day, to close your eyes, and just start to breathe. Breathe in knowing the presence of God. Allow yourself to simply notice your breathing and to be present in this space. If your mind wanders, simply bring it back with this mantra, God is the love that I am. And I will bring us back in 10 minutes. And so as our meditation comes to a close, gently bring your awareness back into your surroundings, into your bodies, and as you are ready, feel free to open your eyes. Welcome to those of you who have joined us while our meditation was in progress. We are so glad to have you with us virtually or in person.
We're going to begin our service by singing our opening chant, led by Mary Highland and maybe Reverend Sidney, I Am Open. Here we go.
I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the God in you and me. I am open. I am open. I am open. Yes, I am. I am open to receive the God in you and me. You are open. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the God in you and me. To each other. You are open. You are open. You are open. You are. You are open to receive the God in you and me. Yeah. We are open. We are open. We are open to receive the God in you and me. We are open. We are open. We are open to receive the God in you and me. The God in you and me. The God in you and me. The God in you and me.
Oh man, that was so good. Let's join together in prayer then. So return back to that absolutely blissful state, being open, connected to one another, connected to Source, to God, to Spirit, just feeling the overwhelming magnificence of the power, the presence, and the principle of God. We know that that is all there is. That is the absolute truth of the universe. And I know that I am connected, and I know that every being here is connected. Every being on the planet is connected to one another and to that overwhelming, magnificent, beautiful source of love and light and goodness and wholeness, purity, joy, abundance, peace, and grace. Oh, it is so beautiful. And I know our time together is blessed, and so very blessed, and that we each receive exactly what we need to receive in terms of upliftment and fellowship and wisdom and strength and love and light. We are so thankful that we are blessed with the musical ministry of Sam and Mary and the ministry of all of the volunteers and the folks that are able to bring this service across the wavelengths, the streaming services, and we're so happy that we are all able to join together, even if physically we're not in the same room. And I'm so thankful for Reverend Sidney being that vessel, that spirit, allowing us to understand the truth of who and what we are. And we pay attention and we receive attention tonight and always. So with a heart full of joy and gratitude, I release my word into the law of mind, knowing it is already done. And so together we say, Amen. Thank you. And so now please join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
It was always sit down, Shirley Valentine. Go away, Shirley Valentine. And one day, Shirley Valentine just wasn't there anymore. A bird is born to fly, born for the moment it takes to the sky, and all its dreams are riding on its wings. But if it falls, the dreams aren't broken as long as the wind is fair. The sky is always there. Oh, the girl who used to be me, she could fly, she was free. You could read by the light of her smile. Oh, the girl who used to be me used to go dancing. Oh, I feel she's been gone too long. She left without a sound. Nobody noticed she wasn't around, and only the moon remembers her at all. The days go by, you start asking questions. Why did the dreams all go? I guess it's time to know. Oh, the girl who used to be me, she could fly, she was free, and she wrote all the words to her songs. Yeah, the girl who used to be me used to go dancing, and I feel she's been gone too long. I want the chance to be the girl who used to be me. A bird is born to fly.
Wow. That's wonderful. Is there a musical that was based on Shirley Valentine? Well, I know the movie was, yeah, but oh my goodness. So for those of you who never saw Shirley Valentine, it is a wonderful film about recovering this woman who little by little has given parts of herself away or buried parts of herself. And little by little, she actually, it's not a little by little process. She awakens to who she is. And there's a wonderful line, and I know that Dr. Mark has quoted it before too. and it's something like this, that I know, I feel like there are all these other lives within me that I want to live, that I want to be living. And it's really wonderful because she learns to pay attention. The girl that used to be me. And it reminds me too, there's a book that I have on my shelf, and some of you might know it. It's 1,000,000 years old, called The Knight in the Rusty Armor. And it's a very short book, and it's about this knight who shields himself in this armor, this protective armor of who he thinks he's supposed to be. And, you know, be that shiny, well, he wears this armor forever and ever and never takes it off. It starts to get rusty. And he can't lift his arms. His wife, I'm trying to remember because I loaned it to Natalie and she was reminding me, and I hadn't read it in about 20 or 30 years. And she said, yeah, she liked the part where the wife had to stand across the room and like shoot the food into his mouth because he can't open the mask. You know, little by little, he starts to cry, and the armor peels off, and he discovers who's inside there, the knight who he used to be, right? Wow, so this topic tonight is about pay attention. It's about paying attention. And it's not just about the notice this, notice that, you know, notice when you need to take responsibility for things like, you know, putting air in your tires and all of that kind of thing. But it's about really, truly listening to yourself, to your body, to your life, putting it all together and recognizing that that is an alchemy of the intuition, which here in this teaching we call intuition is the voice of God in man or woman. It is the voice of God within. So I was thinking about this idea of listening, of paying attention. And I came up with 3 kinds of listening. And I know there's a lot more, but for my purposes, we're just going to say I'm right. That there's physical listening. There's the auditory experience. It involves simply noticing sound without opinion, judgment, preference, or discernment. So it's outer, like I hear an ambulance siren. Then there's the physiological. How is my body responding to what I'm hearing? Am I anxious? Am I peaceful? Am I wary? Example, I hear an ambulance siren, my heart is beating faster, and my throat is tightening up. So that's that inner listening. But then there's spiritual listening. So what does my intuition, that voice of God within me, want me to be aware of here? So here's the example. I hear an ambulance siren. My intuition is guiding me to bless and pray for whoever is involved or connected with that sound. So it's a combination of the others. It is a deep listening to your feelings and to your body. It is paying attention. For example, when I was in the business of candidating for churches, which is basically, it's as a minister, you audition for churches. And I was auditioning for a lot of churches. And I was fairly certain that one church was going to, if not make me an offer, I knew I was, there were 2 of us who were finalists. And then Dr. Mark called me out of the blue and said, would you ever consider moving back to Southern California to be the assistant minister here? So I did this thing that I learned a while ago called a whole body yes. So I sat down, my husband and I were meditating together, and I sat down and I scanned my body from, first I thought of the other church, and it was in a great area, an area near where I grew up, and I knew people down there, and I thought, oh, that could be great. And so I started listening and scanning my body from my toes, my legs, and I could feel, yeah, this is a yes. So far it's a yes. My knees are saying yes. There's a yes here. There's a yes here. And I got up to here, and it stopped. And then I got up to here, and it continued. I thought, well, that's really interesting. It's not a full body yes, but intellectually it has all of the elements, all of the ingredients. And it appears to be really, really good. And I had wonderful interviews with them, and based on some of the things I said, they changed what they were doing. But so it was all really good. And then I started considering the offer to come back here. I'm thinking, intellectually, I'm going North Hollywood, man, traffic, and then traffic, and oh yeah, there's traffic. But I started scanning. Yeah, yes. I got about to my ankles, and my whole body, all of the hairs on my body were alive. It was like, I call them truth bumps or God bumps, goosebumps. My whole body started vibrating. It was an absolute whole body yes. It went beyond my intellectual reasoning. It brought me to a place of just a big old hairy yes. Whether I like the answer or not, this is a yes. And so it was my yes. When we allow ourselves to go beyond the auditory activity and our physiological responses, our intellectual responses, spiritual listening gives us the capacity to move beyond reaction and memory to a place of deeper inquiry and deeper knowing. And I think that that's really important. It's the tool that goes beyond experience, goes beyond the experience we're in to a place of guidance, of growth, and opportunity. And I think that it's an art of listening, of noticing the inner, the outer, and the bridge between the two in order to integrate and live in, it's like an alchemy that we have, live in a realm of greater mindfulness, of possibility. Spiritual listening is actually that art of paying attention. And it's paying attention to all of the aspects. So when we cultivate that paying attention thing, we start to develop our mental awareness, our physical awareness, our spiritual awareness, and it's in service to paying attention. And what happens, at least for me, it's a sense of increased aliveness and connection, right? When I walked in here tonight and Mary said hi and gave me a big hug, she said, I've been paying attention all week. I just keep paying attention. I thought, that's great. That's really wonderful, because that's the idea, is to begin to notice not just what we are perceiving, but how we perceive it, how we feel about how we perceive it. Our world is filled with people who seem to have cultivated the skill of not paying attention, right? Hyper distraction and extreme non-attention, I think. So in its real obvious state, hyper distraction might be me on my cell phone, not hearing my husband asking me if I fed the dog or I remembered to go to the bank. The less obvious way, in which I think so many of us are in denial and distraction, we turn away from our connection to God. We become distracted from that infinite intelligence. It's a less obvious way, but it's a denial process. And we deny our pain. We deny our fear. We deny our hopes. We deny our dreams. Pretty much all of our feeling and our intuitive natures. We deny all of it because it's how we numb out to the divine connection, and it's how we numb out to our need to be worthy. It's how we numb out to our need to matter, to have value. And I think it's because we are afraid of the vulnerability that it requires when we do the deeper work. So when we deny our feelings, because our feeling natures are that really, really deep way that we connect with God. That's how we get that information. How do you feel about this? Well, it feels good up to here, and then, oh, dead. Oh, alive. How do you feel about it? So when we deny our feelings, we are shutting down our spiritual broadcasting system, right? We shut down, it's like shutting down a spiritual GPS and God positioning system. And rather than actually feel our feelings, acknowledge the fears, or admit we feel or believe we are completely unworthy, because we all have that sense within us until we acknowledge it and begin to transform it and do the deeper work. But what happens is we pile on with digital distractions, chemicals, superficial relationships, and here's the big one, busyness, right? So in my own experience, I know that although I had a genuine thirst and craving for a deeper spiritual connection and experience, there was also a sense of not wanting to do the work. Now, I can judge it and say I was lazy, or I was afraid, the threat that I might find out something, I might become vulnerable, the knight in the rusty armor, I might have to acknowledge that I couldn't move because I was so stuck in my protection, whatever that was. But rather than honestly paying attention to spiritual hunger, which is an authentic soul need, I might have said yes to inauthentic busy work, activity, or, it's really great to have superficial conversations with people I didn't really like or care about. Another distraction is gossip, because it's so much easier to talk about someone else and to dive into our opinions, our judgments, our superstitions, all of that stuff, all of the stuff out here. So gossip is one of those things that we do, because for one thing, we can feel so much better about ourselves. So we all know people who skim the surface of spiritual awareness, right? They're the ones who can spew out lots of positive phrases and aphorisms, but in a pinch, it feels like they aren't present for you. And you might be in authentic spiritual pain or angst, but they can't be present because their own fear or pain is far too scary. Are we being present for ourselves, though? Are we willing to be present to ourselves? Because until we do that and really, really begin to get curious and to go within and to excavate that stuff, we can't be present for anybody else. We can't be present for anybody else. So I knew I needed to go much deeper than talking the talk, just the talk, right? I could spew all sorts of affirmations, but I needed to have a deeper experience. And I think that's what draws us here, to this spiritual center, to religious science churches, to Unity, to New Thought in general. We need and we want more than a temporary bandage. We want more than distraction. We wanted to have more than the experience of walking in, feeling good for an hour, and then going back to our misery until 7 days later and doing the whole thing again. We want connection. We want to know how to pay attention. So I read something today from Carl Jung that actually cracked me up. He said that one of the functions of religion is to protect us against the religious experience. I know, right? It's to protect us from having a religious experience. In other words, the formulated and concretized rituals that are the hallmark and the comfort zone, by the way, and there's nothing wrong with them, but that strict adherence, those structures of traditional religious practices are set in place so that you and I don't run the risk of having what Carl Jung called an exploding mystical experience. An exploding mystical experience. The old way of worship is all about not trusting our spiritual cravings or a mystical experience. But here in this place, our whole intention is to inspire you to have an exploding mystical experience. You can be trusted. You can be trusted. Our purpose is to help you awaken to your hidden splendor. And as Meister Eckhart wrote in the 14th century, to let God be God in you. So this is a do-it-yourself religion. It's a do-it-yourself spiritual path. We actually really want you to go beyond your fears and your limits to reveal your own Christ nature. We want you to go beyond what I say or anybody else says, to get curious and to question God, to question your ideas, to question my ideas, to have meaning that is yours, that works for you. There's a freedom that comes from taking responsibility for your thinking and your beliefs. And I think it's not to be found anywhere or in anything other than deep spiritual work. So, and whether it's our principles or somebody else's principles, when you know and identify yourself as a shining individualization of God, then you know that you're not a carbon copy of what someone else has told you you should be. And that happens a lot, don't you think? Because that's kind of a motivation too. I just want to fit in. I just want to fit in. Well, this is the place that encourages you to not fit in. You know, whether you think we're the island of misfit toys or just a whole bunch of unique, shining individuals, go with whatever works for you. We want everybody to be their unique, beautiful, strange, awesome, whatever self, because that's how we all understand what God is. That's how we understand what creativity is. Our great spiritual gift, our great spiritual tool is our attention. And that means that we get to notice, to understand, and to feel all of it. All the confusion, all of the joy, all the pain, all the desire, the frustration, and all of the humanity, the divine humanity that you and I already are. It's in that we become curious. It's in that we break open. It's in our attention that we notice how our perceptions have the power to open us up or shut us down. And when we pay attention to those same perceptions, they lead us to those beliefs and ideas that stand behind those perceptions. And in fact, that's exactly why we have practitioners, because they work with us to understand why we have come to believe the things we believe about God, about ourselves, about life. And those practitioners help us to explore the emotions, the feelings that have led us to conclude what we believe, that life is fair or life is unfair, that we are worthy or we're not worthy. And so we explore that and then replace whatever that belief is that is perhaps not serving you with a belief that will serve you, that supports you, anchored in the truth that you and I are creations of spirit. We are divine now. We have access now. We are spiritual beings now. No idea is independent of that which sourced or created it. It doesn't just pop up. So Charles Fillmore, who co-founded Unity with his wife Myrtle, wrote this idea, this statement about ideas. And it applies to those ideas, I think, which serve and uplift us, as well as those ideas that limit us and keep us from living full, joyful lives. Ideas are productive and bring forth after their kind. Every idea has a specific function to perform. Every idea makes a structure after its own image and likeness. All things rest on ideas. The idea back of a flower is beauty. The idea back of music is harmony. The idea back of day is light, or the dispensing of intelligence. So I really, really especially like that one where every idea makes a structure after its own image and likeness, because that's what we teach here. It's the creative process. That which we think is that which creates our lives. What we believe is creating our lives. It is done unto us as we believe. And if we don't know, if we haven't been paying attention to what we believe, and we're looking at our lives and saying, oh my God, who created this mishigas? If we don't know that we did that, then we get to just keep on doing that. So the idea is that we want to awaken and know what's going on. So now let me ask you to take a moment and really consider, when you look at the structure of an experience in your life, in your own life, what was the idea that might have formed it? It's like looking at the infrastructure for that manifestation. What is underneath it? What was the image and likeness that created, for better or for worse, anything and everything that is happening in your own life? You know, the evidence for where we are is so clear when we pay attention and learn how to really understand the signs. We can look at our lives and see if there is clarity and order. Wow, that's great. We have created an idea infrastructure of clarity and order. And if we are experiencing chaos and confusion and fear, we have created an infrastructure, a belief infrastructure of chaos, confusion, and fear. It will always exactly correspond to what we're thinking. It's not because of what anybody else has done to us. It is exactly according to how we feel about ourselves and how we choose to interpret what is going on with this. I was speaking with someone earlier tonight who said, I'm a little bit, I don't know quite where I'm standing right now because I was released from my job today. And I said, wow, I'm going to say to you what was said to me when I got fired from a job that I really, really thought I wanted, but it turned out I was miserable and it was time to go. That person said to me, wow, Sydney, you are so powerful. You quit and you got them to do it for you. I knew I didn't belong there. I knew that wasn't my right and perfect place. I knew I had to go. I wasn't going to take the action to do it. They did it for me. That is some deep passive-aggressive power, isn't it? The order of creation is from the formless to the formed. It's from the invisible to the visible. And this goes on perpetually. And there's never a beginning or an end to this process. The starting point of every form, every manifest thing is an idea. We call this involution. Involution. Ideas then are made into form and shape. We call that evolution. One is in, one is outward. Evolution is the working out and manifestation. I wish I could claim responsibility for all this brilliant stuff, by the way. This is Charles Fillmore. Evolution is the working out and manifestation of that which mind has involved. The call of the divine in you and me is these are my words, to call, to grow, to expand, to express, and be part of the evolution, the evolution, the outvolution. So there's a standard to God. Divine idealism. Don't you love that? Divine idealism. Divine idealism is God's standard of perfection. It's God's standard of perfection. And this idea is continually pouring itself into its creation to lift it higher and higher. It's continually pouring itself into Maya to lift her higher and higher, and into Amy to lift her higher and higher. It's continually pouring itself into Dina to lift her higher and higher. That's how this works. You and I are the means of this lifting up and this expression. We are the way that God is experienced and expressed in the world because God is that presence, yet we are the manifestation. If we are not aware that there's something greater that's trying to get our attention, we absolutely will find ourselves, as Emerson wrote, living lives of quiet desperation. Our responsibility lies in going beyond all of that, going beyond our comfort, the comfort that we have with our intellectual reasoning. And there's nothing wrong with that. God bless our minds and our thinking. But going beyond that, because there isn't a lot of magic or creative fire to be found in a purely intellectual life. I was looking at one of Ernest Holmes' readings earlier. It is the nature of God to give, and it is our nature to receive. Back of every idea of supply, every need in our human lives, there is something which forevermore gives of itself and takes the form of our experiences when we permit it to. Are we permitting it to? Are we permitting God to come through us? Are we paying attention to that message, to that voice, to that divine urge, the divine discontent that is saying it's time to leave your job? Oh, my darling, I know you don't want to. Here, let me give you a little shove and help you. Are we paying attention to that which is calling for us to love, to create, to be a part of? Combining our intellects with our feelings and paying attention to the nudges, the pulls, and the ahas, we become instruments of God. We become instruments of infinite life. So I want to invite you to dare to rise up to your vision of who and what you are. Dare to do that. You know, there's an alchemy that happens when we step into the inspiration and the gifts that we have within us. Sometimes we have to jump because it can be scary. We don't know what's underneath us. You know, it's like that idea of we don't know if there will be anything to land on if we jump. Maybe, just maybe, probably, we're going to be given those wings to fly. So the alchemy, this experience is what Ernest Holmes called the fire from heaven. It's from that higher awareness. It's not geographical heaven. It is from that knowing of who we are when we are at peace and in alignment with our divine natures. Already there, right? We don't have to audition for that. We don't have to prove anything. We don't need a Savior to give that to us. We are that. That Christ is already present within us. And to the degree that we recognize it and acknowledge it and say, okay, baby, I'm listening. I'm here. Tell me, talk to me, show me what I need to know. I'm listening. When we do that, oh, we get to live those lives of joy, of freedom. This fire from heaven transforms, it purifies, it shines in us as light and love. Dare that fire. Dare that alchemy. I want to close with a quote from Ernest Holmes. He wrote, "You have a silent partner within you, whose energy is inexhaustible and whose intelligence is without limit. Your silent partner is more than a subjective or unconscious reaction to life. It is life itself. So throw yourself with complete abandon into the all-consuming fire of inward conviction. Pay attention to you. You are a creation of spirit, and you are God." And so it is. Let's pray. Thank you. So we enter into a healing consciousness now, because this is the place where we heal. This is the place that heals. This is the place where we recognize in complete confidence and safety and security that the ground upon which we stand is holy, not because of this place, but because we are holy. And so every step we take is in deeper recognition of our holiness, of our sacredness, because we are living in a field of infinite possibility, infinite presence, that divine alchemy, that is infinite potentiality, that is God itself, that presence, that power, which is both source and substance, creator and created, is that which stands within us, around us, and as us, saying, "My darling, say yes. Notice me. Notice the impulses. Notice the intuitions. Notice the ahas. All of this is for you, my darling. You are in this garden of possibility, and you are the most important thing in this garden because you are life itself." So I know for all of us that we are part of this, and that we awaken now and recognize and we own our unity with God. We unify in that place of oneness, knowing that we are absolutely infinite, because one with God is a majority. One with God is a majority. And it is that majority that right here and right now purifies and cleanses all thoughts that are less than God, that lifts and transforms anything that might have appeared to be an idea that limited us, that didn't work for us, that didn't enrich, bless, or prosper us, and it dissolves all of it. So I know if there is an area in our lives where there appears to be a need for physical healing, the truth that cannot be denied, will not be denied, and is seeking expression right here and right now is that wholeness prevails. Wholeness holds sway. Wholeness is the idea. Wholeness is the power. Wholeness is that which is always flowing and active. So I declare and I know that the activity of God is expressing as wholeness, as health, as radiant healing, whether it be bones or muscles or tissues or cells or anything in our body. We are made whole. We are made whole because we are whole. We surrender anything less than that, allowing the alchemy of spirit to cleanse it, to cleanse the thought, to dissolve the thought, and simply replace it with the truth that there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life right now. And if the appearance is one of a need of supply, of prosperity, of abundance, of source, of whatever that is for you, I know that nothing can stand in the way of God because it's all God. So I declare that there's an awakening now of an ability and a talent, a savant skill to pay attention to the ways in which you are, I am, we are fully blessed beyond reason. The opulence of God, the opulence of God, the wealth, the generosity, saturating us, filling us to overflowing. There is no denying. We are here for the pleasure of God, and God is here for the pleasure of us. We lie back on those satin cushions as God would have us, and we say, okay, I know I am worthy. Peel me grapes, lots of them. And if the need appears to be in another part of the world, we know that this presence surrounds and fills each being, blessing them and lifting them up. And if the need appears to be someone for whom our hearts are connected, a family member, a friend, we bless them, knowing that no one lives outside of the mind, the heart, the love, the arms of Spirit. So we now behold them as God beholds them, perfect, shining, infinite, blessed, open and receptive, and willing to now know themselves from a higher place. So we bless this church. We bless all churches. We bless all churches, all synagogues, all ashrams, all mosques, all places where people gather, because it's all God. And we know that with this knowing of God, of peace, of love, we are indeed shifting the consciousness of this planet. I'm so grateful to know this. And with every fiber of my being, I am grateful. I release this word into law, declaring, and so it is. And together we say, amen.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
You are just awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Now is the time in our service when we invite you to share your tithes, your gifts, your love offerings. So I invite you to take your offering, to hold it in your hand, to then place your hand to your heart. And would you say with me, from the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. Yay.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so
Oh, thank you, Mary. You're an angel. Thank you, Sam. Wonderful music ministry. Also an angel. We're so blessed. Thank you. Time for announcements. So you can make donations to our church through our text to give number, the QR code, or through our website, nhcrs.org/give. Prayer with a practitioner is available after service in person and on Zoom. Do you ever wonder how different your life would be if you'd been raised in this teaching? We teach these same life-affirming principles you heard today in our youth and family ministry, and our kids are thriving. Every Sunday morning at 9:45, our junior church is open to kids from toddler to teen and in between. Next Wednesday, healing service with Reverend Steen, meditation at 6:50, service at 7. Reverend Sidney's topic next week is Thou Shalt Not Suffer. Good one. We have so many wonderful things happening. Our Gourmets for God team is busy putting together the catalog of events for this year, and we'll have it available to all on Sunday, March 26th, the first day of bidding. Get ready. Thank you to all who have signed up to host an event. This is our most impressive lineup ever. This weekend, walk the labyrinth, this Friday and Saturday. Come one, come all, and support your soul with the peace and blessing of a labyrinth walk. It's Friday, March 17th, 6:30 p.m. orientation and explanation for first-time walkers, and then the walk will be from 7 to 9 p.m. The walk will also be this Saturday, March 18th, the walk from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Grief support group in person. This group, facilitated by practitioner Mary Hyland, meets this Sunday at 1 p.m. in the Ernest Holmes room. All are welcome. Next weekend, Creative Arts Ministry, the Pastry Arts Festival. Start salivating. Desserts, sweet things. Pastry Arts Festival. Join us for this dessert extravaganza for the heart and soul. Participants will share desserts and/or recipes, and we encourage everybody that comes to bring a favorite dessert. Sign up Sunday on the patio. There's a $10 suggested donation. Loving Outreach Ministry. We will be feeding the homeless and others on Sunday, March 26th. Sign up on the patio to volunteer and/or donate food. Also, we are still collecting blankets, coats, and sweaters for the homeless. Drop your donation in the red bin on the patio. Bali trip with Dr. Mark Vieira. In September. We never get tired of that. Positive. Dr. Mark is taking your group to Bali, September 5th to 15th, 2023. An informational brochure and Sacred Covenant can be found on our website and on the patio. Zoom virtual patio is before and after Sunday and Wednesday services, and Zoom meditation every morning, Monday through Saturday from 7:55 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. Visit our website, NHCRS.org, to obtain Zoom links and more information about all of our events and to sign up for weekly e-blasts and monthly newsletters.
All right, so somebody took our final affirmation, so I'm going to do something that my minister when I was 11 years old used to say. So I'm going to invite you to stand up. Go forth now, dear ones, filled with joy, filled with zeal, filled with the zest of the here and now. I surround each soul here in a circle of light protection. And it is impenetrable, invulnerable, and invincible. A ring pass not. Nothing shall touch you but the direct action of God, and that is love. This is the truth. God knows it, I know it, and I know that I know it, and so it is. Amen.
Let's all sing Blessed Always one more time with Mary Hyland.
All of you.